Hi students, in this video I'm going to discuss how to qualify for dual credit. So again, there are 4 steps to dual credit. This is the second step. All students must be eligible to take dual credit courses with qualifying test scores. There are different requirements for each course. So here are the tests that you can use to qualify for dual credit. A lot of our juniors can qualify with PSAT scores from 10th or 11th grade. Juniors can also qualify for dual credit using SAT or ACT scores. A lot of our sophomores aren't quite ready to take the SAT or ACT yet. Juniors, be aware that on March 3rd, you're going to have a free SAT. It's called the School Day SAT. So you could potentially qualify for dual credit using that test. The TSI is the test that most of our sophomores will need to take to qualify for dual credit if you do not meet minimum PSAT requirements. This is a test that's offered at Lone Star College, and we're going to have some opportunities here at Lone Star at Tomball Memorial for you to take the TSI for dual credit. The AccuPlacer is another test that some students might need to take if they don't qualify with the SAT or ACT, and that's called the AccuPlacer. And this is only for students who are interested in calculus or chemistry. So juniors, these are the dates that you can plan to take the SAT or ACT. If you plan to take any SAT or ACT after these dates, it will be too late. These are the last dates that you can take these tests in order to meet my dual credit deadlines. So please plan accordingly. These are the general scores you need in order to qualify for dual credit. So let me go through it. I know it can be a little confusing. So if you're planning to take English, history, or government dual credit, you can qualify for those classes using just this column here. So if you have PSAT scores on the evidence-based reading and writing with a minimum of 460, you are already eligible for those classes. Same with SAT. If you have on the evidence-based reading and writing section, if you have at least a 480, you are now eligible for those classes. With the ACT, you have to also have a composite of 23 with a 19 on the English section. So, like I said, for English, history, U.S. history, and government, these are the scores that you can have in order to be eligible for those courses. Now, let's move on to math. If you're planning to take college algebra, if you meet these math minimums, you are set. You will not need to take any other tests. So for college algebra only. If you're planning to take statistics, you will have to meet these math requirements and the reading and writing requirements as well. For science, similarly, you will also need to meet both reading and writing requirements and math. The only exception to this is chemistry, and I'll go over that one in a little bit. Now, for chemistry and calculus, you'll need to meet higher standards in the math. So for chemistry and calculus, you'll need to meet the reading and writing minimums. But then on top of that, you also need to have for chemistry at least a 570 on the SAT or a 23 on the ACT math. For calculus, you'll need at least a 670 on the SAT and a B or better in pre-cal. On the ACT, you'll need at least a 27 and a B or better in pre-cal. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, I do have a placement chart that I'll post in the classroom. And so, but feel free to come ask me if any of these do not make sense. I know it is a little confusing. Keep in mind, let me just go back. Keep in mind you can use a combination of tests. So say, for example, one year you met the reading minimum on the PSAT, but then on a separate year, you took the SAT and met the minimum for math, you can certainly do that. Lone Star College will allow you to mix and match tests to qualify. PSAT scores will be submitted on your behalf to Lone Star College. I'm able to download PSAT scores. SAT and ACT scores, however, you do need to download a copy for me, and then you also need to send an official score report from College Board or ACT directly to Lone Star College. And when you're looking for the name of the school, you're going to be looking for Lone Star College System, the Woodlands campus, not Tomball College. So when you're registering for your test, whether it's on the school day test or on a separate day that you go on your own, you need to be sure to add Lone Star College to your list of schools to receive a score report. If you do it at the time of registration, it is free. If you do it after you register, it's going to cost you $12. So I really encourage you to do the free one. PSAT. So a side note about PSAT. PSAT only grants students eligibility. Eligibility and qualification are not the same thing. Students using PSAT scores are not considered college ready until they successfully complete a college level course with a grade of A, B, or C. So if you take a course and you make below a C in that course, then you're going to have to take the TSI and submit an approval to Lone Star College before being allowed to continue in the dual credit program. Okay, another deadline. This is our final deadline, April 1st. April 1st is the final deadline to qualify and make any changes. So by April 1st, you need to have all qualifying scores submitted to me before or by April 1st. So if you already have qualifying scores, you can submit those to me as soon as possible. Do not wait. If you have scores, give them to me right now so I can start processing your information. So what you're going to do is you're going to submit that dual credit, new to dual credit course form where you submitted your Lone Star College ID, etc., and you put in your course request. If you change your mind after you submit that form, you can make changes, but you need to make sure that you use the DC course change form. Sometimes you may talk to your counselor and ask him or her to make a change for you, but you need to make sure that you submit this course change form for me because your counselor may not remember to email me about any of your changes. There are no exceptions to this deadline, so make sure you plan ahead. Those of you who are planning to take an upcoming SAT or ACT, just make sure that you are planning ahead in case you need to retest. Even those of you taking the TSI, this is not a quick process. It may take 1 to 2 weeks to get a testing ticket to take the TSI. And then you might even have to retest. So please don't wait until the last minute. You will not be given any extensions. And you won't be allowed to miss school in order to take an upcoming test. So just make sure you plan ahead. Once I have your qualifying scores, you'll get a registration packet. And we'll talk about that we'll have a video posted on how to complete the registration packet. So if you're exempt from TSI, so you looked at that chart and you're already exempt, congratulations. All you need to do is fill out that Google form I mentioned and submit your scores for me to review. You do not have to complete the pre-assessment activity and you don't have to watch the next video about TSI testing. If you're not exempt from TSI, then you will have to complete the pre-assessment and take the TSI and make sure that you watch the next video about the TSI testing steps. So let me review all of the deadlines for you in this one slide. So by January 29th, I know this is going to be repetitive, but I need to make sure that you understand. By January 29th, I would like all students who are interested in dual credit to submit the new to DC course request form. So on that form, you're submitting your Lone Star College ID and all of the courses that you plan to take and your plan for how you're going to qualify for those courses, whether you already qualify or if you're planning to test. By April 1st, you need to make sure that I have in my hands, your qualifying scores and any changes if you've changed your mind after you've submitted that course, the course request form. Towards the end of April, you need to have submitted a registration packet. I don't have a deadline yet for that because sometimes I have to wait on Lone Star College to give me certain forms. So by the time the hard deadline is going to be April 1st. After that, I'll give you another deadline to return your registration packet. Once I have your registration packet, I'll compile those and give those to Lone Star College. And then Lone Star College is going to process those, and then I will let you know when it is time to pay. So don't be anxious. As soon as you get your registration packet submitted, don't be expecting your Lone Star College account to be updated yet. It's usually about sometimes about middle of May or end of May that Lone Star College